Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Harry, and these are my group mates, Adriel, Brian, and Michael. We are from Group 3, and today we would like to present to you our research on the extent of the number of COVID-19 cases and Singapore's effect on their hotel industry's revenue. This presentation will be divided into 4 groups. Firstly, I will tell you the introduction and background to our research. Then, Adriel and Michael will cover our literature review. And lastly, our analysis and conclusion will be presented by Brian. As we all know, COVID-19 has a huge impact on the world's economy. There has been mass unemployment, general decrease in stock market prices, etc. But we mainly want to focus on the hotel industry as it is among the first industry to feel the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic. The reason why we pick Singapore as our focus is because it is small and quite densely populated, with around 8,000 people living in a square kilometer, which means that a single case there will have a noticeable impact on the entire country. Furthermore, since their first case on 23rd January, they already have more than 38,000 cases of COVID-19 by the beginning of June. This means that we have enough data and time to make an analysis and conclusion on our research. Lastly, from my part, our research stems from our thought that as there are more COVID-19 cases in Singapore, there should be a higher decrease in the hotel revenue because people will be more afraid to go out to avoid catching the pandemic, and thus the hotel will have even less visitors to generate revenue.
Next, we are going to talk about our literature that we use as a database to support our arguments. Our literature comes from 3 different sources, which are CBRE Hotels, HVS, and the official Singapore Tourism Board. Our first literature comes from CBRE Hotel. As we can see, Singapore divided their hotel industry into 4 different segments, which are the luxury segment, which on par with 5-star hotel, the upscale tier, on par with 4-star hotel, mid-tier, which on par with 3-star hotel, then the economy class, which 1 and 2-star hotels. Now, as we can see, that in the bar chart, the upscale tier suffered the most in terms of revenue per available room, or RevPAR, by the end of March 2020 with 76%, while luxury, mid-tier, and economy class also suffered RevPAR decrease by 55, 63, and 43% respectively. This pandemic will also likely create a shift in consumer behavior and preferences, because the government will continue to adapt its people to be able to live alongside COVID-19, such as creating a new hygiene standard, social distancing, and contactless service, which will negatively influence Singapore hospitality market. This journal also provides data of a comparison between Singapore's performance between the COVID-19 and SARS. In 2003, Singapore was able to overcome the shock from a pandemic in a relatively short term. The SARS outbreak happened in March 2003, and Singapore was able to incline its performance after May 2003. And while SARS and COVID-19 are different, but this data is one of the proof that Singapore has a strong recovery ability. Singapore experienced a downfall trend in revenue growth, which dropped to 1.8% annual growth rate from last year's 4.5%. Regardless, this data also shows that Singapore is not experiencing any minus in growth rate, which implies that Singapore is still considered fundamentally healthy. With Singapore's investment in tourism and hospitality industries such as Sentosa Island, Singapore will crank up their hospitality sector.
So next is our second literature, which titled COVID-19 Impact on Hotels in Asia Pacific. And this report conveys essential information pertaining to the hotel industry in the Asia Pacific region, including Singapore. From this report, we could gather the seasonality indicator, which indicates how much international arrivals in Singapore on a monthly basis, as well as the proportion of international travelers by country. As in 2020, the slope decrease indicating that there are less international visitors. The decrease in international visitors are on point with the decrease of average daily rate, revenue per available room, or RevPAR, and occupancy rate. Based on the report, in order to combat the negative effect of the pandemic, the government imposed 4 billion Singapore dollars to assist workers, and companies, as well as a deferral on the goods and service tax hike until after 2021. Other initiatives from the government also include a property tax rebate as well as wage support. Next is our analysis. All of the methodology used to create this report is derived from secondary data. The reason for this is various. First, as the research is focused on a foreign country, it is very hard to obtain primary data, as we need to travel to the location, which incurs time and cost penalties. Furthermore, the current COVID-19 situation means that people are ordered by the government to follow work from home regulation, which bars traveling to anywhere without special permissions. And in this table, it shows the RevPAR and the standard occupancy rate for December 2019 until the April 2020 in Singapore. As we can see from this table, we can see a monthly decrease in the RevPAR and occupancy rate, with the most prominent drop in January 2020 to February 2020.
Alright, so for our analysis, our group made two charts, which is the RevPAR chart on the left and the COVID-19 cases chart on the right. As you can see, each chart has a trend. For the RevPAR chart, we can see that by each passing month, the RevPAR decreases. Whereas in the COVID-19 case chart, well, it increases in the 4 months, but it really increases from 31 March to 30 April, as you can see that. Okay, so basically the data is divided by period. So in 31 December 2019, the RevPAR is $195.4, and there haven't been any COVID-19 cases detected yet. Whereas in 30 April, the RevPAR is decreasing to $36.6. Whereas the COVID-19 cases in Singapore is already 17,101. Okay, so for our analysis, next we also make a chart about the change in RevPAR and the change in COVID-19 cases. So as you can see, for the change in RevPAR, in January to February period, there is a change of minus $76.9 for RevPAR. And as you can see, in the same period for COVID-19 cases, the increase is only 86, where if you compare it to the March to April period, the change in RevPAR is only decreasing to about $31.9. But in the same period, the COVID-19 case increases by 16,175. Okay, to make more sense of this situation, our group also divided the change in RevPAR and the change in COVID-19 cases and make a chart about it. So as you can see, in the January to February period, the change in RevPAR per COVID-19 cases ratio is minus 0.89. What that means is for every one person that is diagnosed with COVID-19 in that period, the RevPAR will decrease by 89 cents. So it is very significant. Okay, but in March to April period, for every one person that is diagnosed with COVID-19, the RevPAR will only decrease by $0.002. So we can say that the amount of RevPAR decreases for every COVID-19 cases. Okay, so for our conclusion, the number of COVID-19 cases in Singapore does affect the revenue of the hotel industry. However, the number of COVID-19 cases does not affect them directly. Instead, we conclude that the real cause of the hotel industry's revenue decrease is the panic caused during the emergence of COVID-19 in Singapore. Okay, so thank you very much for listening to this presentation.